So are you feeling stuck in your manifesting? Maybe you feel like you are reliving your same mistakes again and again, like Groundhog's Day. Or you feel like you go through the same cycles again and again, where things get really, really good and then they get really, really bad. Well, I've got you, because in this video, I'm going to share with you the one thing that you need to realize with manifesting that most people don't. And it affects everything. And I promise you, by the end, you are going to have an idea of how you can fix it. So if you're ready, let's get into this. If you are new here, welcome. I'm so excited that you're here. My name is Laura. I've been a life coach and yoga educator for over 30 years, and I've really focused on teaching law of attraction concepts for the last 15 years. I've helped hundreds of clients live their extraordinary life, that life that's deeply fulfilling, full of purpose, and vibrantly joyful for them, whatever that might be. I'm going to break this episode up into 3 parts. The first one is we're going to talk about what the thing is that I've been alluding to so far. The next thing I'm going to talk about is why it's actually an issue, especially if you are a manifester and you want to be manifesting more and more. And finally, I'm going to end with the how you can begin to fix it. And I guess there's a 4th part, because I'll also be sharing with you my latest release that you might want to tap into if this is something you want to work on even more. So what is it I'm talking about? It's the joy ceiling. It's defined as, and just so you know, this is my own definition, this is my own concept, so bear with me. The definition is, there's only so much joy we're comfortable experiencing until we sabotage that joy. Stick with me here, because I'm guessing your first reaction, if you have half a brain, is, are you crazy? That's nuts, because it sounds nuts, doesn't it? It's like, I would be unhappy if I was joyful. That's so not true. But stick with me. I want you to think about the area in your life where you are working on manifesting. Have you had that experience where things get really good, but then they get bad again? And then they get really good, and then they get bad again, right? That is a cycle that I'm talking about, because you're coming up against your joy ceiling, so you begin to sabotage it. Now realize we are talking subconscious. This is not a conscious thing, although it might be. I will say that once I share this with clients, they often go, oh yeah, I totally do that, and I can see how I'm sabotaging it. I mean, think about a friend. It's really easy to see this in other people. I am sure you have that friend who really struggles in relationships, with intimate relationships, right? They find that perfect person. You're thinking, oh my God, it's so awesome. They finally found that person. And then they start to sabotage it by making assumptions. What did they mean by that? What do you think they're thinking there? What do you think they're saying? And they are poisoning the foundation of the relationship. And you can see it from the outside. It's easier to see it in other people for sure. But realize that we do that too. Maybe you're the one who has that cycle with your relationship where you're like, I meet that perfect person, but then they start to say things and they start to do things and they start to, it's all about them, right? But really it's you making assumptions. You're poisoning that foundation. Or maybe you have been on a fitness regime and you get really fit, and then you start to sleep in a little bit and miss your workouts, or skip going to the gym, or you start eating things you weren't eating before and you start to go back to where you were. Or it's debt. You're finally ready and you work really hard to get out of debt, or you get, a windfall and you get out of debt, and then within a few months, you're back in that debt. And that's again, because you're reaching your joy ceiling. Now that brings me to a separate thought that I also want to share here, because it's really important. And that is, we do manifest differently in different areas of our life. And this is where I do differ slightly from other manifesting teachers. So the 4 main areas of our life are our career, the things that we do to make our money, our money situation itself, our relationships. This one has a lot of different facets to it, because we have our intimate relationship, with our spouse or our partner. We have a relationship with our parents, with our kids, with our best friend, with, random friends, with coworkers, etc. Right? So you might have, good ones in certain areas and not so good ones in others. And then we also have our own health. those are the main 4 areas that I find, I've been doing this for decades, that people are looking to shift. Doesn't mean that's a finite list. That's not complete. So if you have another area that doesn't feel like it fits in that pocket, by all means, add that to your list. But you might be really, really fantastic in your career. You love your job, but you know what? You're not paid very much. Like, you're not manifesting a lot of money, or you're in debt up to here, or whatever, that is. And you might have a really great relationship with your spouse. You have a fantastic marriage, but your relationship with your friends, you've always struggled with. Or do you see what I mean? Like, each of those areas can be different. Now, there is the aggregate to those, and that is how you feel in general. And that's why I wanted to share it, is because you might say, but I really am happy in my life. And it's like, that's fantastic. That's what we want, right? We're just looking to up that happiness. And yeah, there's that aggregate, but that one area is tamping that overall joy down. And what we need to do is begin to figure out how we can ratchet that joy ceiling up. So why is this important? Well, realize that the law of attraction is great, but the law of vibration is actually preeminent over law of attraction. And what I mean by that is that really what you attract is based on your vibration. So what we really need to do is really focus on our vibration and get it higher. Now, if the concept of vibration is new to you and you're not really sure what I'm talking about, you'll want to check out my podcast that I did called Vibration 101. So I will link to that in the show notes, so you can go check that out. It's a really nice breakdown of what vibration is. But just know it is a way of feeling better. So when our vibration is higher, faster, we feel better. When it is lower, slower, then we feel worse. Okay, so it is a feeling that we receive. And so when we link the vibration to our joy ceiling, that joy ceiling is just a vibration, what we need to do is start to feel comfortable with a higher vibration in general. We need to feel like it's okay to feel more joyful. We don't have to start tamping it down when we start to get into that excited place. We can be comfortable with it, like more resonant with that higher vibration. And then, of course, that allows us to bring more good into our life, because the higher our vibration is, the better, more goodness we attract into our life, which is our goal. So, how do we do it? Radical self-care. Okay, stick with me, because self-care is so much more than pedicures and hot bubble baths, although they are fantastic. It is about taking amazing care of you, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Filling yourself up, which raises your vibration. And if you're doing it regularly, which is the key, then you start to get more comfortable at that higher vibration. It starts to become the norm rather than that thing you get at the end of your vacation, that really relaxed, filled up feeling that you get at the end of a great vacation. We want to start living from that place. Hey, let me interrupt really quickly, because I just want to ask if you're subscribed to this YouTube channel yet. Just so you know, it's totally free to do, and it helps me so much. It helps me in the algorithm, helps this video reach even more people just like you. Now, you can just click the subscribe button below, hit the bell to make sure you're receiving notifications whenever I release a new video, which is usually about once a week. And one more request, if you have a friend who could use this information, please share it with them. Now, this brings up 2 quickies that I want to share as sort of an aside, because they're important. Because this self-care not only raises your vibration, it gives you 2 other benefits when it comes to manifesting. The first one is it's showing the universe you feel like you deserve great care. You deserve to have great things in your life. You deserve great things, that you see yourself as worthy, valuable, deserving, which is one of the things that holds us back, right? And it helps you fall more in love with the life you're already living, because you start to enjoy your days even more. And that's one of the premises of my coaching practice. To live a truly happy life, you need 2 things. First is to fall deeply in love with the life you're already living. And the second is to have a dream that makes you so excited you can't wait to leap out of bed, to evolve, grow, move through your fears, do the things you need to do in order to step into that life that you really want to have. So what do you need to do? Well, upgrade your self-care practices, Duh, I know that's what you're thinking. But I do have some very specific tips for you to tap into, because here's the thing. You don't want to assume what you've always been doing is really what's filling you up. It could just be habit. And also, don't assume what works for someone else is going to work for you. We are all very different, and we're different at different times. I was going to say in our lives, but also during the day and during the week and at certain times during the month, you're going to need different things. You just need to become more self-aware and have a plan. Because what I really want you to have is have a radical self-care plan. Now, first of all, I want to share why I think radical is the perfect way to see it. Radical actually has two definitions. The first one is forming a fundamental part of the nature of someone. Okay, think about it. I want your self-care plan to begin to define who you are, to help you show up in the world in a new way, in a more filled up way, in a more substantial way. The second definition of radical is advocating for complete social change characterized by departure from tradition. Dang, if that's not true. Having a self-care plan that you're going to do all the time, whether or not you think you need it, stick with me, I'll get to that, is a radical idea, unfortunately, for our society. And I will say specifically for the later generation, the one I'm in, for sure, because we were definitely raised on get the list done before you do anything for yourself. Get all of your tasks done. Don't sit down until the work's done. And we want to instead change that. And that's a little radical. So your radical self-care plan needs to have two things. First of all, it needs to be proactive. And what I mean by that is a plan to stay filled up, to not even let yourself go empty. How many times do you put off doing something for yourself until you're totally exhausted? I mean, there are times, I can admit, more times than I care to admit, when I've thought, oh, I was going to take a bath, but I don't really need it. I can keep going. Or I was going to do this to take care of myself, but I don't really need it. I can just get this job done first. No, this is about prioritizing those things that you do for yourself and doing them regardless of whether or not you need it. And I'm going to say need it. I think that deserves to have quotes, doesn't it? Can you hear the quotes in my voice? Need it. It's like we do need it. We need to keep our cup full. And that is a huge part of this. So make sure your plan is proactive. Now, it also needs to be strategic. And that's figuring out exactly what is going to fill you up. And this is where I want you to really spend some time thinking, what does fill me up? Because so often self-care is seen as the pedicure or the hot bath. But maybe what you really need is to spend a raucous night out with your friends dancing the night away, or going to a concert because it really fills you up. Or maybe it is hiking all by yourself in the wilderness, or it is the hot bath, right? Like you have to think about what it is that will actually fill you up and will make you feel better. And this helps you not only save precious time, but this is where you begin to really ratchet up your vibration. I mean, really both of being proactive, so you're keeping yourself filled up, because when we are drained, our vibration goes down. You just can't sustain a high vibration when you are drained. And when you're strategic, so you're doing the right thing, it's going to help you ratchet up that joy ceiling, so you're going to feel better and better and better. This is truly one of the most powerful things you can do for your manifesting. My flagship program is 5 Steps Plus One for Living Your Extraordinary Life. And that plus one, when I first wrote this program, which was about 12 years ago, maybe 15, the self-care was plus one because I thought, it's kind of an afterthought. Now I've left it as plus one because I feel like it is so important. It deserves to have a parenthesis side focus. Because if this was all you did, if you focused on truly feeling good, everything would fall into place, at least theoretically. We obviously need to be looking at the other things and taking action steps, etc. But when you're feeling really good, you tend to get inspired and excited, right? You tend to want to take those action steps without forcing yourself. It becomes much easier to just follow those things that make you feel really, really good. So this is just a key aspect of your manifesting practice. So super quick recap. Be proactive, so have a plan in place. And what I recommend is daily, weekly, monthly. Do a little something every single day that helps you fill up with the express intention of filling up. And then do a little something more once a week where it's a little longer, a little bit more time. And then once a month, take a full day to fill yourself up. And if that makes you shudder, I can't take a full day. What, are you kidding me? First of all, I want you to think, why can't I take 12 days out of 365 for myself? And by the way, this is me. It took me, I've taught this for 10 years, and it took me a solid 5 to be able to take a whole day for myself. Like, it was just that challenging. So there's no judgment, but I do want you to think, why can't I take 12 days out of 365 for me? Because that's something to contemplate. But even if you just take an afternoon or a whole evening, like, just start somewhere once a month where you're taking more time for you to fill up. That's proactivity. But have the plan ahead of time. Okay, so don't think, I'm going to do something today, I don't know what it is, because you're just going to keep going. Say, every day I'm going to do this and see how it goes. Every week I'm going to do this. And then once a month I'm going to look at my calendar and I'm going to block out a day. I'm going to take a whole day for myself. And then you also want it to be strategic. You want to take the time to think, what will actually fill me up? What do I want to do that is going to help me feel better? So I want to help you. I just released a new program called Up Your Vibe, the Radical Self-Care Toolkit. You can probably guess what I'm going to be doing, right? I'm going to help you design your radical self-care program to really help you pump up that joy ceiling so you can get your vibration higher and begin to attract those really awesome things in yourself without then sabotaging them. The kit includes a few coaching videos where I'm going to talk you through, first of all, your story, why you have what you do in your life, why you have this self-care program, because we've learned it from somewhere. And it does behoove us to just take a moment to think about why the story is where it is and what you can do then to change it. And then, of course, we're going to talk you through how to figure out what it is that really fills you up, because we're going to talk about what helps you physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, because you want to do a little something for all of those. But it also helps you figure out what will fill you up best. Is it your body that's depleted? Is it your mind that needs a little bit of a break? What can we do to fill you up? So these are all tips and tricks that you'll be able to use going forward. Finally, I'm also going to help you with what happens when you fall off the wagon, how to get back into the groove of things, because it's going to happen. It happens to all of us. So if you want to find out more, you can definitely click the link below and go check it out. And I can't wait to see you on the other side.